Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, we will have a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Falls, will you call the roll, please?
Dr. Moriarty?
Here.
Mrs. Roberts?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mrs. Pritchett?
Here. I would be remiss. I want to welcome everyone to this afternoon's school board meeting of the regular school board of Martin County. Okay, I need a motion of approval of the agenda and addendum I'm sorry, I didn't finish. With these items added, 7.05, 12.02, 18.04, items updated, 3.06, 4.01, 4.03, 9.01, 9.02, 9.03, 9.04, and 18.03.
Move approval.
Madam Chair.
Yes, I'm going to do that when we get to that.
Okay, you'll move that to
Yes,
action?
absolutely.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Powers, a second by Dr. Moriarty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. May I have an approval to the items of consent?
So I move approval of the consent agenda. Was there an item
yeah,
that was going to be?
Yes, it's under, I want to move it from consent to action, and that would be 10.08, the revised student progression plan, 25-26 school year.
So I move approval of the consent agenda with the item referenced move to action only.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Powers, a second by Dr. Moriarty. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. So we will, under our board member discussion, I'd like to read two proclamations. I'll start with the Veterans Day Proclamation 12.01. And it reads, this is a Veterans Day proclamation to make Veterans Month the month of November in the Martin County School District. Whereas our nation's veterans have selflessly served in the armed forces, defending the freedoms and ideals upon which our country was founded, and whereas veterans have demonstrated exceptional courage, sacrifice, and dedication in times of conflict and peace, and whereas the students, staff, and community of the Martin County School District are committed to honoring the contribution and sacrifices of all military veterans, and whereas the observance of Veterans Month provides an opportunity to foster understanding and appreciation of the values of service, patriotism, and duty, and whereas by recognizing and honoring our veterans, we inspire future generations to appreciate the importance of civic responsibility, service to others, and respect for the freedoms we hold dear. And whereas this month-long observance will include educational activities, commemorations, and expressions of gratitude to ensure the legacy of our veterans is never forgotten. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Martin County School Board proclaims November as Veterans Month in the Martin County School District and encourages all students, staff, and community members to engage in acts of remembrance, reflection, and appreciation for those who have served in the United States Armed Forces. In witness whereof, we, the members of the Martin County School Board, have hereunto set our hands this 21st of October, 2025.
Do we have to make a motion on a proclamation or no? Do we? No. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the reason we're doing it now is because at the November meeting, it'll be past the beginning of November. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware that this is what's happening in the district moving forward the month of November. Okay, the second one is a proclamation for Parents' Month. And it reads, since 1994, Parents' Day has been celebrated in the United States on the 4th of Sunday of July each year. The intent of this national observance is to promote the message that the role of parents is essential in human development, requiring investment, focus, and commitment. Building upon this foundation, the Martin County School Board recognizes that celebrating parents and caregivers deserves more than a single day. It deserves a full month of acknowledgement and appreciation. Images of parents and caregivers engaged in active learning and meaningful activities with their children are often used to illustrate the importance of family connection. These images reinforce the messages that commitment is a core family value, parental responsibilities are key to children's growth and development, and that unconditional love is vital for a strong bond between caregivers and children. Parental figures include biological, foster, step-parents, as well as guardians and other caregivers who help nurture and guide children. Whereas effective parents and caregivers provide a foundation of support, wisdom, and unconditional love while helping their children build character, learn responsibility, and reach their full potential, whereas parents and caregivers are vital to strong families and thriving communities, whereas effective parenting and caregiving extend beyond the home as part of a broader community effort to help shape future generations. And whereas the Martin County School Board wishes to expand the spirit of National Parents' Day by dedicating an entire month to recognizing, uplifting, and supporting the essential role of parents and caregivers in the lives of children. And whereas the Martin County School Board encourages parents, caregivers, and community members to work together to ensure that all children have the guidance, encouragement, and opportunities they need to succeed. Now, therefore, the Martin County School Board proclaims October 25, 2025 as Parents' Month in Martin County, Florida, and urges all citizens to express their love, respect, and appreciation to parents and caregivers throughout our community. Thank you. Recognitions. It doesn't seem that we have any today. Information only reports. We will go to our student representative, Delaney Miller. Thank you, Delaney.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the October 21st school board meeting notes. For Martin County High School, on September 17th, MCHS held its annual homecoming parade in downtown Stuart, celebrating over 70 of its class, club, and athletic homecoming representatives. The school would like to recognize its first place float winners in the homecoming parade. In the class category, the class of 2026, go seniors, took home first for their New York City float. In the athletics category, cross country and track won first place for their Daytona float. Finally, in our club category, Opus earned first place for their float celebrating New Orleans. Our Tigers team won the homecoming football game 21-10 while we celebrated our homecoming representatives. Special congratulations to our homecoming king, Luke White, and our homecoming queen, Brooke Tweedale. The class of 2028 proudly hosted our coast-to-coast themed homecoming dance, which was a memorable night for all of the students and a success for the class. The speech and debate team attended their monthly regional tournament, and the following students received awards in their respective events. Winning first place, Ella Moray, in third place, Miranda Luban, and in sixth place, Grace Powell. The MCHS Sunshine Committee recognized the Employee of the Month for September and named Maria Babcock, our incredible Student Services Secretary, as the winner. Ms. Babcock's dedication, kindness, and unwavering support for both students and staff make her an irreplaceable part of our school family. On October 10th, Martin County and South Fork went head-to-head during the 42nd annual Martin Bowl. Congratulations, Tigers, on our 13-6 victory. The Tigers volleyball team are district champions. The boys and girls golf team both celebrated wins this past week, as well as the bowling team during their senior night against South Fork. The boys swim team won county champs and the girls team finished in second overall. Tigers athletics are doing amazing. On Tuesday, October 15th, the Martin County High School National Honor Society inducted 150 new members into our school chapter. Up next, we have South Fork High School. September was a busy and exciting month for South Fork High School student government. The month was highlighted by homecoming at high tide, which brought the entire Bulldog community together for a week full of spirit, competition, and celebration. The festivities kicked off with an amazing parade through Hope Sound, showcasing the creativity and pride of each class. Students then competed in our annual Clash of the Classes, a spirited series of events to determine who would take home the coveted Spirit Bone. Points were earned through Spirit Week participation, lunchtime games, the class kickball game, float building, and our always competitive Penny Wars. Despite a rainy evening, South Fork had an unforgettable homecoming football game, celebrating its outstanding homecoming court and their achievements. The week concluded with a magical Under the Sea homecoming dance, which was a huge success. After all of the points were tallied, the senior class came out on top, proudly earning the Spirit Bone for 2025. However, the junior class managed to secure the title of Best Float after the parade with their Moana entry. In addition, South Fork's Penny War raised $1,028.34 for this year's recipient, House of Hope, demonstrating the true spirit of giving that defines South Fork High School. Cross Country hosted Mudfest, and all had a blast running the course. The girls' cross country team is having an amazing season, posting the fastest team average in school history at the New World Fall Spectacular Race. The South Fork High School boys golf team is currently undefeated going into the last week of the regular season. They won the Vero Beach High School Invitational Golf Tournament and are ranked second in the state of Florida, first in the FHSAA 2A classification, and have 3 players ranked individually in the top 20 in the state. Senior Luke Harrigan was awarded with the ESPN West Palm Player of the Week. Now for Jensen Beach High School. Jensen Beach's first SOAR ticket raffle on Friday, October 10th was a huge success with students turning in over 750 SOAR tickets and claiming more than 20 prizes, including Falcon gear, Bluetooth speakers, football tickets, homecoming dance tickets, a skateboard, and more. Jensen Beach High School is getting ready to kick off their homecoming week in the Emerald City. Their theme, There's No Place Like Home, coming, will lead them to a fun-filled week of parade, pep rallies, and a dance. The Falcon football team is continuing their record-breaking undefeated season at 7-0. With even more success, the swim and dive team just won their county championship. Good job, Falcons. JBHS National Honor Society just inducted 97 new members, and they also won the Chick-fil-A Spirit Contest during the month of September for the first time in Jensen Beach history. And last, the new Best Buddies Club is raising awareness and gathering members, with already having 35 members for their first year on campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Delaney. Now we'll have our district update. Derek Lowe.
Not on. Oh, there we go. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Maine. My name is Derek Lowe. I serve as the Coordinator of Public Information and Community Relations for the Martin County School District. It's a pleasure to present to you this month's district update. Starting things off, 1 year after Hurricane Milton struck our area and the entire Treasure Coast, our district is reflecting on its lasting impact through a special episode of the All in Martin podcast. This episode features Murray Middle School Principal Tiffany Roth and our Facilities Director Mark Seacrest, who share their firsthand experiences from the storm's aftermath, the incredible resilience shown by students and staff, and the progress made toward rebuilding. It's a powerful reminder of how our community came together during one of our most challenging times and how that same spirit continues to move us forward. To listen to this month's episode, you can visit our website, martinschools.org. The All in Martin podcast is also available on many streaming platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Each year, our schools celebrate Constitution Week by welcoming local leaders, including attorneys, judges, and elected officials, to speak with students about the U.S. Constitution and other foundational American documents. These classroom visits give students a first-hand look at how the principles that helped shape our nation continue to guide our government today. The Martin County School District would like to thank our teachers, the Martin County Bar Association, the 3 local law firms shown on the screen, the Education Foundation of Martin County, and all of our amazing volunteers for making Constitution Week 2025 a tremendous success. And a special congratulations to Palm City Elementary and local attorneys Lauren Esposito and Ross Alagna, who were named our 2025 Constitution Week champions for the best presentation. We just wrapped up celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in our district, and to celebrate, Spectrum Academy hosted a vibrant fiesta for students and staff, welcoming the superintendent, board members, and district leaders. The event highlighted the many Hispanic cultures represented at Spectrum, from homemade dishes prepared by staff to student projects honoring Hispanic scientists. Let's now take a quick look at some of the moments that made this celebration so special. The Martin County School District is excited to invite our high school students and their families to our annual college fair happening next Monday, October 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Martin County High School cafeteria. This free event is a great opportunity for students to meet representatives from more than 35 colleges, universities, and other post-secondary institutions. Throughout that evening, families can also attend breakout sessions on important topics like financial aid and scholarships, how to prepare a strong college application, and also navigating the admissions process. Whether students are planning to stay close to home or explore out-of-state options, the college fair is designed to help them discover new opportunities and take that next step toward their college and career goals. That concludes this month's district update. Until next time, you can find us wherever you scroll. As I mentioned earlier, we are on just about every streaming platform, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you so much. District update, Superintendent Maine?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Last month, I had the opportunity to share some highlights from our first ever State of the District breakfast, which we hosted in partnership with the Education Foundation of Martin County. The event brought together more than 100 community partners, local leaders, and educators to celebrate our shared successes and look ahead to the future of public education here in the Martin County School District. I had the opportunity to deliver the keynote presentation where I spoke about the power of collaboration and the important role our community plays in helping students thrive. At that time, the video recap was not available or ready yet, but I'd like to share that with you this evening.
The stage is set, the vibe is unstoppable. Tables filled with champions for education, gathering for an inaugural event, the State of the District Breakfast, sponsored by the Education Foundation of Martin County.
This past year has shown what's possible when a community comes together with purpose. And as I look around this room at the principals, the partners, the elected leaders and volunteers, I see that purpose alive and well.
That purpose was felt in every detail, from student performances opening the morning to the shared commitment filling the room. Everyone was there to celebrate how far the Martin County School District has come and see how far we're going.
And I could not be more proud and honored to stand before you this morning overseeing now, after 7 incredible years, your A-rated school district, and that is fantastic.
An A-rated district once again, but we're just getting started.
We are 64 points out of number 4 position. 64. That is doable. That is absolutely doable to be in the top 4 in the state of Florida.
We're closing the gap and raising expectations because the district knows how to fight for its students.
My education philosophy is that there is a genius in every child. We cannot produce students or prepare students only for academics. We're about the whole child and making sure that the whole child is prepared to succeed in life.
From pre-K to graduation, the goal is simple: lift every student, every school, every opportunity.
My commitment is no C schools this school year.
With community partners, business leaders, and educators united, that goal is possible.
Huge thank you to all of our business partners that are in attendance today. We can't do this without you. We know how valuable you are in helping support our schools, our students.
Together, we're building a stronger future for Martin County students.
That's where the magic and the power and the acceleration of being unstoppable happens.
A-rated, all in, unstoppable.
So we need all of you to help join us in our C schools and our call to action to volunteer, to read with students, to mentor students. That's how we move the district forward. We collectively, as a whole, get out to schools, read with kids, and show your support of our C schools so that we do not have any C schools here in the Martin County School District. I'm also proud to share that the Martin County School District has once again been recognized by the Florida Department of Education through our Workforce Development Capitalization Incentive Grant. This year, we're awarded another $765,000, marking our 3rd award from this highly competitive initiative. These funds will allow us to expand hands-on career and technical education opportunities that lead to industry certifications and high-wage, high-demand careers. This year's grant will be launching new programs in artificial intelligence foundations, civil and survey drafting, nursing assistant training, while also continuing to build on successful programs that we already have and have had in the district: welding, construction management, engineering, and allied health. We're deeply grateful for the state's continued investment in our students' futures and for recognizing that the innovative work happening right here in Martin County. Moving the needle ahead, I want to highlight the positive impact of our district-wide attendance campaign. From September 2024 to September 2025, 19 of our 20 traditional schools showed improved attendance and achievement of a rate of higher than 90%. Bessie Creek Elementary stayed at 95% for the last couple of years. On average, district attendance increased at every school within the district. Some schools saw particularly stronger gains than others. Warfield Elementary leading the way with almost 4% increase, followed closely by J.D. Parker, Hope Sound, Port Salerno Elementary, and Stewart Middle School improving by 2%. It's important to note that our district attendance has averaged over 92%, so when you are already above the 90s, incremental increases is great. So we are very proud of our student services team and our schools for their increased attendance initiatives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board member information share? Do we have any? Okay, you know what? I apologize. Are there any other information-only reports that someone would like to question? Go ahead, Ms. Roberts.
Thank you. I know that the charter schools give us their financial reports. This morning at the legislative delegation presentation, Hope Center for Autism mentioned that they have a wait list next year for over 300. So if we can find out how many of those are actually K-12, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else want to share? Okay. We are a little early, but since we have so many comments, I'd like to go ahead and go to public comment, if everyone is okay with that. Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to read this briefly. Citizen input is vital to the improvement of our district. Most times your remarks may be listened to without comment from the board members or superintendent. This does not mean they are heard with any less intensity or concern. Where appropriate, the superintendent and staff will investigate your comments and report back to you and the board with an answer. We thank you for taking the time and having the concern to make our district better. Your presentation to the board should not exceed 3 minutes. Letters or statements from others not present can be given to our clerk, who will be sure that each school board member and the superintendent receive a copy. To keep our records straight and authentic, our policy does not permit you to read the statements of others into the record. I'm going to call the first speaker and then let you know who the next speaker is. You do have 3 minutes to speak. Our first speaker is Yoel Reyes, followed by Ashley Braden Knowles.
Good afternoon. I'm a student here at Martin County High School, and I'm here on behalf of the teachers. One of them is in this room tonight. And for those of you here who would like to see Mr. Theobald removed from the district, I'd like to say that I was a student of his, and he was a phenomenal man, a very honorable man, and a great teacher as well. I'd also like to say, a moment ago we heard from Mr. Main that you want to see no C-rated schools in this district. I'd like to tell you that there are two, more than two, but there's two in Indiantown. And this time last year, the board attempted to remove stipends for those teachers that commute either from Jensen Beach or Stewart. And it's actually lower than what they were promised. But one man in this room stood up to you all for those teachers, Mr. Theobald. And I don't believe that you're trying to remove him from the classroom and take away his salary because of his comments on the late Charlie Kirk from a private conversation. I don't know how you obtained those comments, but it doesn't seem right. I believe more that you are trying to remove him because he stood up to this board and was not afraid to question what you were doing and stand up for the teachers. Teachers in this district face an array of problems. It would take me 3 hours to go through all of them. Some just at Martin County High School, we've had 4 principals in the last 3 years. Mrs. Cizik was introduced in August. Just 2 months later, we had Ms. Vogel from Jensen Beach. To me, that says you have no confidence in your principals. So how can any of us have confidence in you? Another thing I'd like to say, our campuses are dangerous. There are drugs on our schools, and just weeks ago, a student at Martin County High School brought a BB gun on school grounds. And this board was ready to terminate the SRO program in our schools and instead move toward the Guardians because of a dispute in funding. You're ready to pull the plug on that. But it's just such a shame what's happened to the education in this county. It's not about our students, it's not about our teachers, it's about politics. So I ask that you would take your hands out of our schools, you'd let the principals run them, and they do follow the policies. They do what's right for the students because they're not politicians like you all are. They're educators in the business of educating students. So with that said, I'd ask that you put Mr. Theobald back in his classroom in Spectrum Academy. We've seen a lot of hostility towards him already, but he was a good man, he still is, and he always will be. With that said, I'll be back to every meeting until these issues are addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley Braden Knowles, followed by Kaylin Rowell.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Braden Knowles. Tonight, a lot of people are going to talk about character and American values, and here's my view. The American flag is more than a fashion accessory. It stands for the ideals of our Constitution. It's not just something to stick on your truck, bring out for your pool party, or throw on a t-shirt. And let me be clear, in my family, we own a truck, we pay Martin County taxes on our pool, and I married a man with plenty of USA t-shirts and Second Amendment knowledge. I check all the boxes for the family value ideal. Married, homeowner, baby, church every Sunday. That should not matter. I'm not a far left-leaning hippie, and I just want you to know there are moderates and conservatives who are unhappy with what this board is doing. Excuse me. I'm a homegrown moderate, so everyone in the room has a reason to disagree with me on something. But my history teachers at Martin County High School taught me that disagreeing was my American right. Our current Martin County School Board is teaching that right is only reserved for those with certain opinions or in the private sector who are out of their reach. There will also be a lot of talk tonight about freedom from speech as not freedom from consequence. But what about the consequences of suppression of speech? The moves of this district are continually eroding our educators' morale. Our teachers are leaving in droves. For every teacher you fire, reassign, or unfairly discipline, others are taking note and leaving on their own, with no one to replace them. Like I said last meeting, I'm unsure who's going to be left to teach my young children when it is their turn. I do not know the specifics of Mr. Theobald's case. However, I have recently learned that in some other cases of this discipline, although the final say lays in the superintendent, some of these choices are made without you ever meeting or speaking with the employee. This is wrong. When you reshape someone's career or break their heart, you should look them in the eye when you do it. And I'm here to look you all in the eye and state the treatment of teachers in this county lately by this board is morally and perhaps legally wrong. Our teachers are people and humans. They are not political caricatures. Open your eyes and see the damage you are doing now and for future students. I support Mr. Theobald's First Amendment rights, and when you vote about anything with Mr. Theobald, look up and look at him.
Thank you. Kaylin Rowell, followed by Nancy Brownie.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to speak on behalf of Matt Theobald from a perspective that only I can speak from. The school board and Superintendent Main's decision to suspend Matt without pay till the hearing for termination, which is going on almost 5 weeks now, based on your opinions that Matt cannot teach in the classroom without having political bias. You obviously do not know Matt. He's the most honorable man I know. He does his job with honesty, professionalism, and integrity, as he does in every aspect of his life. Your actions have caused irreparable harm to myself, to Matt, and our 16-month-old son. To see the most caring, gentle man, who I have the utmost love and respect for his name and image to be dragged through the mud in a lame attempt by the school board to weaken the teachers union here in Martin County. I believe your decision for termination based off a Facebook comment is a targeted attack to undermine the teachers union. And in doing so, you decided to financially cripple a teacher with a young family. I would also like to point out that this is the second time that Matt has worked for you as an employee without pay since he's become union president. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. I also do not need to tell you that these actions are also highly unconstitutional. As Matt and I play with our son, and his name and face being blasted on the news and social media outlets as him being described as vile and disturbing. This man should not be around children, disgusting human who should never be in a classroom again. All of this because you chose to call out a teacher on social media. A blatant, sad attempt to tarnish a good man's name from one of your district employees who decided to stalk Matt's mother's Facebook page and cut and paste comments in a private conversation that blasted all over social media. This is the vile and disturbing actions. I have shown in the hundreds of letters and emails in support of Matt by all those who know Matt and support him and show up here to say how wrong you all are. Matt is not just a teacher. He goes above and beyond when anyone is in need. I have seen firsthand the after-hour phone calls from teachers crying because they have fallen on hard times. His big heart that reaches out and takes the time to help in any way he can. Fundraising supplies for teachers, even helped organize supplies for teachers affected by hurricanes and drove them there himself. I've seen this man day after day being stopped and taking the time to talk to former students and teachers. Hey, Mr. T, you were my favorite teacher.
Kaylin, your
Love
3
you, Mr.
minutes are
Theobald.
up. No, I'm
One
sorry,
second.
I'm going to turn off the mic. We have a lot of speakers.
No,
I
the
appreciate
lasting
it.
impact he has had on this community is an me. Matt and I are
Frank,
both
please.
homegrown, born, and raised, contributing members of this community. I will not let Superintendent Maine or any school board or accomplices tell us anything not. That's not right. No.
Nancy Brownie, followed by Elizabeth Crane.
Nancy is not here yet. She won't be here till 5.
I'm going to shut off the mic until we get some decorum, please. Everyone will have a chance to speak for 3 minutes. I let you go over quite a bit, and it's time for someone else to speak. If you do shout out during someone else speaking, I am going to ask our Chief of Safety and Security to escort you out of the building. Thank you. Ms. Crane?
Yes. My name is Elizabeth Crane. I have lived here in Martin County for close to 48 years. I am very touched by all of the speakers and what they've had to say. I also have never heard of Matt before. Don't know anything about him. I did read the post, and it was very disturbing to me. And that's what I think so many people are not really looking at, is those who know him in a fuller way than what I read was very disturbing. It was basically, if you don't agree with somebody, it's okay that they're assassinated. That was the context of how.
Please refrain.
So the gathering here today is purported to be about free speech. I don't agree. It's not about free speech. He's free to say whatever he would like. It's a straw dog argument, just like the book ban argument. It wasn't about the books being banned because they had never been banned. They all were available. It was about the pornography they were putting in our schools. This is very disturbing to see a teacher who would be so harsh on somebody he admits himself he hardly knew. He didn't know anything about him, and yet he had all these opinions. When I read the Facebook post, what I was impressed with was nobody called him a name. Nobody was calling Matt a name like he called Charlie. For those of us who loved him and were traumatized by this, that was a very inconsiderate, harmful thing to do to the public here in Martin County. Matt Theobald's First Amendment rights are still intact, and again, it's a distraction for what's really going on. The points of views of these teachers and the wokeness in our public schools. They are willingly overlooking known evil. This underlying theme seems to be if you disagree with the leftists, then you deserve a violent reaction. We don't want that here in Martin County. You're free to say whatever you want. You are not free to call people racist, misogynist. You are not allowed to assassinate their character. Everybody's upset how Matt's being treated. How about Charlie? He doesn't seem too concerned about what happened to Charlie and his family. It affects us. This is vitriol that's coming out. This is about his ethical conduct as a teacher. Can he be trusted?
Thank you. Nancy Gillen, followed by Barbara Twig.
Good afternoon, School Board. My name is Nancy Gillen, and I was a science teacher at Martin County High for 9 years. I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I'm here to support the First Amendment. I'm here to support Matt. I'm here to support all the students, and I mean all the students, of Martin County High. I'm also here to support the taxpayers of Martin County who may unwittingly get tied up in a lengthy court battle. But mostly, I'm here to ask the Martin County School Board to deal equitably for all our students with this challenging situation. The death of Charlie Kirk is a tragedy. The possible firing of Matt Theobald is compounding that tragedy. By suppressing one set of opinions on either side, some students will be disenfranchised. That's a problem. That's also an unavoidable problem. I asked the Martin County School Board to set the example to our high school students that although we have different opinions, we must respect the rights of others. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Twig, followed by Kristen Signorelli.
Hello, and thank you. I would like to quote, "I legitimately knew nothing about him until I heard he was shot. But the more I'm learning, the more I realize he was not a good guy. He was a racist, a misogynistic, fear-mongering neo-Nazi who used religion to justify all of the evil things he said and done. The Bible called those folks Pharisees, and they were the ones Jesus preached against." And it continues. "The man created Turning Point USA, which is literally the equivalent of a modern-day Hitler Youth organization. And people are mourning him like he's some sort of a folk hero." End of quote. This is a Martin County School District teacher, Matt Theobald, representing the Martin County School District. The very first thing that came to my mind when I saw that, when I heard that, was Matthew 12:34. Jesus said, "But you who are known as the Pharisees are rotten to the core like venomous snakes. How can your words be good or if you are rotten within? For what has been stored up in your heart will be heard in the overflow of your words." So I guess that's Teacher Theobald's heart. And he probably now is going to call me, what is it, a racist, misogynistic, fear-mongering neo-Nazi. The thing I'm very concerned about are the students. There are Turning Point USA chapters in the Martin County School District, and those students do not deserve, they're vulnerable, and they don't deserve to think, I wonder what he's gonna think of me. I'm scared to do that. So what a shame that we have an employee like that. And to close, I'm just going to read the letter from the School District Superintendent's Florida Department of Education, and it says, quote, "Although educators have First Amendment rights, these rights do not extend without limit into their professional duties. And educators' personal views that are made public may undermine the trust of the students and families that they serve. If an educator's conduct causes a student or his or her family to feel unwelcome or unwilling to participate in the learning environment, it may be a violation." Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Signorelli, followed by James Grossnickel.
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, we are back here again. I'm Kristen Conca Signorelli, and once again I stand before you and ask this school board and Superintendent Main to reinstate Matt Theobald to the classroom. Clearly, for many community members, the fellow educators, current and retired district employees, and unforgettably Sam, Mr. Theobald's current student from Spectrum Academy, who stood up and spoke at the last meeting, there is no question that Matt Theobald is a man of integrity. He's a man of compassion and professionalism. His presence in the classroom matters. Matt is a champion of education. Mr. Main's recommendation to terminate a teacher based on a post on a personal Facebook site is irresponsible, and to me, it's personally infuriating. It's an affront to the U.S. Constitution. The post that's led us to this unfortunate situation referenced a social media influencer. I don't think anyone in this room actually knew him, and while his death was tragic, still, his statements many, many times were regarded as offensive and derogatory to many people in this country. It is true. It is true, Matt.
Speak to us, please.
If you proceed with the firing of this caring professional and impactful teacher, it will have negative repercussions for years to come for Martin County School District. Not to least will be what we talked about, someone else mentioned, the possibility of a protracted legal proceedings costing us as taxpayers millions of dollars potentially, to say nothing of the damage to this district's reputation. Reaching number 4 in this state will require the recruitment and retention of highly qualified educators. This decision for Mr. Theobald will send a message loud and clear to those considering Martin County School District. I ask each of you, as I did in an email I sent a couple of weeks ago, what is your why? We as educators, therapists are often asked to say, what is your why? Are you a school board member for the salary and benefits? Are you there for the recognition and your name displayed on the dais? Are you there to promote a particular political ideology? Or are you serving because you truly care about our district, the teachers, the staff, and most importantly, the students? In closing, Matt Theobald's why is clear. What about you?
Thank you. James Grossnickel, followed by Martin Powell.
My name is James Grossnickel and is a longtime resident of Martin County, 65 years, and a Navy veteran, and someone who attended school in Martin County from 2nd to 12th grade. I've seen a lot of Martin County do things that I don't understand, and a lot of Martin County do things that I don't agree with. But let me just congratulate you all. You've set a new standard for things I don't understand and things I don't agree with. How you could possibly weaponize a school district to scare and intimidate teachers and a union is beyond my belief. If a police officer is in a shooting, he's put on administrative leave with pay. I saw today a letter, when you put somebody suspended without pay, you are prejudiced. You've shown the prejudice right there. That's a fact. This is not an opinion, that's a fact. You suspended him without pay. You already have made up your minds on what you're gonna do, and you've really set a new standard for a really poor educational system. Okay, I don't understand where you're going with this or how you think this is gonna fix anything. He has given 17 years of service to this county. I don't understand. I don't think you all have. I don't think you've been here for 65 years. I don't know what your position is or what you think you're doing right, but nobody else thinks that. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Martin Powell, followed by Roberta Gunn.
Good evening. My name is Martin Powell. I'm an attorney representing Mr. Theobald. I know what we're here before is who's going to hear this hearing, but Superintendent Main, I'll address you. These people are talking to you. It's your recommendation that's before them, and you have every opportunity to rescind it. For the school board, what you're hearing is relevant to your decision as well. You have a decision whether to hear this matter yourself or to refer it to DOA, the Division of Administrative Hearing. I understand you have that right, but there are many rights we have, and we can still do wrong. We have experience here in Martin County. I haven't gotten a response to my public records request, and still I already know that there are employees in this district who have instructed students comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler, that have given them access to Nazi websites, and they get reprimands. There are teachers in this district that call students names related to their race, related to their ethnicity, and they get reprimands. There's teachers here that you're investigating now for saying things about Mr. Kirk, and they're getting reprimands. For some reason, Mr. Theobald is getting terminated. And I submit to you that there is evidence of a bias here, and you should refer this case to DOA instead of hearing it themselves. In fact, the way that you managed this, the way that you already removed Mr. Theobald from pay, is by finding just cause based on the superintendent's recommendation, a decision that you already made. And now you cannot make it again. You cannot sit in judgment again on a decision you've already made. So again, I submit to you, submit this to DOA for a third party, someone who's not involved in this situation, someone that's not has any even appearance of impropriety, to hear this case, to find the facts, to determine what's appropriate, rather than this school board. Again, many of you have heard the statements made here today. Many of you have been involved. I've seen on your own public social media sites that you have personal opinions about Mr. Kirk, personal opinions about our nation's politics and our nation's direction. Take yourself out of that position. Take yourself out of the situation where you're going to sit in judgment of someone based on what they said because you don't agree with what they said. Give it to someone who has the ability to actually decide whether people have a right to have opinions, a right to express those opinions. You have an opportunity to do that right now. And Superintendent Maine, you have an opportunity to get out of this path, to get off this track that's headed towards what we've already heard is long and expensive litigation. So please, take this seriously, listen to your constituents, and make a reasonable decision here.
Thank you. Roberta Gunn, followed by Dorothy Kraft.
Hi, my name is Robbie Gunn. I'm here to stand up for Matt Theobald, a wonderful teacher who served 17 years without any reprimands in a disciplinary manner. I'm a retired Title I reading coordinator, and by the way, for 10 years, I was a lay leader for the United Methodist Church in my neighborhood, Girl Scout leader, the whole shebang. We all get very, very amped up in this kind of situation. The beginning of the meeting was wonderful because we got to see some of the children, and it went through my mind when I saw somebody cha-chaing at the academy that Matt should be there in all his glory as well. He's stuck right now because this is a very political time. One of the things that I didn't hear you laud, perhaps you did at another time, was the fact that you have a high school student in our midst who won a national competition on gun violence. My husband and I, he was also a former teacher, we love kids. We're always we have grandkids, kids, we're into it. So we went and we thought, well, let's support these kids. And one of them was a youngster named Ian, who's 16 years old, who, by the way, happens to be a former student of Matt's. And when I tell you, I hope that all of you attended. I certainly hope you did, Mr. Maine, because you would have been so proud. The thing that we noticed, both my husband and I, is that there was no politics. That these kids, these are 6 plays, 1-act plays. It was a national competition. The kids were talking about how afraid they are in our environment. The smooth, beautiful facade that you showed us at the beginning, all the wonderful things are all true, but they're not true if we're not a compassionate community. And that means that compassion should bring the sides together. We're not going to be able to agree on politics, not in this horrible, horrible, horrible time that we're all living in. And by the way, the President of the United States just shit on us. Right? Right? So would you like to maybe write a letter to him while you have some time? So
thank you.
I want to agree with Matt's lawyer. You guys don't have the balance to make a decision. I feel really sorry for Mr. Maine. Anyway.
Thank you. Dorothy Kraft, followed by, I think it says James Marr, M-A-R.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Martin County School Board members, and Superintendent Mr. Maine. I'm Dorothy Kraft, a resident of Martin County, a concerned citizen, a mother, a grandmother, and most of all, a believer in Jesus Christ. I'm here to speak about statements that a history teacher of the school district wrote about a certain group of students and to ask the board to terminate this teacher from our district so that no further harm comes to these students. What happened and why is this important? This history teacher wrote inflammatory, vile words about a man that was violently killed in front of his family and in front of the world for what he believed in. This man was Charlie Kirk. Charlie started an organization for the youth of our country called Turning Point USA. We have students in our district that belong to one of these Turning Point USA chapters, and while grieving the loss of Charlie, this history teacher decided to write awful things about a man that was just assassinated and wrote derogatory words about the Turning Point organization, stating, and I quote, "This man," meaning Charlie, "created Turning Point USA, which is literally the equivalent of a modern-day Hitler Youth organization." Being a history teacher, he knows the meaning and weight of calling this man a neo-Nazi and the organization a Nazi organization. As a person that we have entrusted our most precious resource to, our children, this teacher violated that trust by equating a group of students with Nazis. In our society today, that connotates very divisive words such as authoritarian, conservative, oppressive, fascist, racist, nationalist, extremist. According to Florida Department of Education, the Martin County School District Code of Conduct, and as well as an unspoken code of conduct for a teacher, there's no room for targeting a group of students. I've heard the argument. He has the right to free speech. You're absolutely correct. He does. But he's not free from the consequences of that freedom. He does not belong around children while writing hateful things about them. I've heard the argument, it was a private forum. There is not such a thing as private in the social media environment we live in today. And even the board 7540.04 policy states clearly an employee's personal or private use of social media may have unintended consequences. And while he did not say these things on school property, he did speak about students that come to school on this property and in this environment. So he most certainly did bring these words to the school. This is about accountability for the things we say and the things we do. I've heard no remorse, no regrets, no apology from this teacher. He is not the victim. The victims are the students he targeted with his words, and Charlie is the victim by being murdered. Psalm 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God." Charlie was a peacemaker. His organization encouraged the youth of our times to be critical thinkers, to do research, to investigate why they believed what they believed, and to have social, civil discourse. This teacher has done the opposite. He used inflammatory words. Please terminate him. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to tell you again, if you make noise while someone is speaking, I'm going to turn the mic off, because everybody's voice gets to be considered here. Everyone's. So please, let them speak, whoever they are, whether you agree with them or not. Thank you. James, or am I correct? You're James?
My name is Jim Moyer.
Jim Moyer. Okay, thank you. I apologize.
That's all right.
Samuel Fandino, you're next. Thank you.
Superintendent, members of the board. My name is Jim Moyer. I've been a resident of Martin County for almost 35 years. I'm a parent. My child was raised in Martin County. It's a challenge to try to be agnostic in this world, but it is the role of a teacher to teach critical thought. It is a role of the school to be as free with thought as possible. It's important for children to be able to understand a range of things, both scientific, ethical, and moral. I know Matt to be a moral and ethical and wonderfully compassionate human. He's a fantastic father, a good friend, a conscientious citizen, and a member of this community that teaches really thinking, really clearly understanding what's going on. It's one thing to simply accept gospel. It's another to distort gospel and to think it's something else. It's one thing to preach one thing, and it's another to study it. Matt is a studied historian that understands what he's doing in private. He has constitutional rights as an individual and a member of this community. You have a duty of authority to treat him fairly, not to use him politically. And it's really important to your community that you do that justly. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, sir.
Please keep Matt on board.
Samuel Fandino, followed by Maria Shaw.
Hello, members of the school board, Superintendent Main. I am a current student of Mr. Theobald. I take his economics honors class at Spectrum Academy. I think my first thing I want to talk about is why I was just lied to by you, Mr. Main. You said up there that you wanted all students to thrive. And you're either lying to me or lying to yourself, and I don't think you should do either. Because if you want me to thrive, what you would do is you would give me back my teacher. You would put him back in my economics honors class. And you would let me learn. You would let me learn from Mr. Theobald. You would let me learn from a 17-year veteran teacher who cares about me and who cares about everyone who steps into his class. All right? Members of the school board, the only thing I can say is that at this point, as a student, I'm 17 years old. I can't vote. I don't have any recourse. The only people that could get me recourse are you. And I think you should, by giving me back my teacher. You know, a lot of people have gotten up here and they have talked about the harm, et cetera. The only harm that at the end of the day really will be caused is to the students who will not get to learn. All right? I think it should be evident how much I care, that I'm begging the school board for the right to learn from my teacher. That's a sentence I never thought I would have to say, right? You know, I said it last time, I don't know if you guys care. I don't know if anything I say has any meaning. I don't know if you guys had your decision the second you get fired. But if anything anyone says resonates with you, I think it should resonate to you, that the students in his classroom know that Mr. Theobald cares about them, that he cares about the subject, and that he wants to be there, which means the world to me, and I know it means the world to the other students. You know, I don't agree with what he said. I said that last time as well. I'm not woke. I'm not, you know, a liberal. The only thing I am is someone that really just wants to learn and to know that the teachers that I have that are teaching me, that they care about me. And no one exemplifies that more than Mr. Theobald. You know, people are up here, they're asking, you know, is he safe to be in the classroom? Yes! The answer is yes. All right? He's not just safe, he makes the classrooms more safe by being there. All right, there is no upside to firing him. The only thing you're doing is harming the students in your classrooms, the people that you serve. You don't serve the voters. You're special elected officials. You do serve the voters. But you know you serve more. You serve me. I'm the student. You're the school board. For God's sakes, do what's best for me. Do what's best for the kids in the class and give me back Mr. Theobald.
Thank you, Samuel. Maria Shaw, followed by Tony Barletta.
Hi, I'm Maria Shaw. I am first time at the school board meeting, 28-year retired Martin County teacher. I retired in 2020, remember that year? 2020. Also Martin County High School graduate. I do not know Mr. Theobald, but I will tell you in my 28 years, and especially in the years that we would have been overlapping, he has such an amazing reputation. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of teachers in Martin County School District. But I actually had heard about Mr. Theobald, not in a union kind of thing, just as a teacher, just students that I had that had him, people in the community who know him. I stand here before you thinking, how can you could take a teacher like this out of the classroom, someone so committed who students love, a teacher who works at Spectrum as an ESE teacher, especially my career started at elementary. I was Palm City Elementary, Felix A. Williams Elementary. I went to Jensen Beach High School, went to Seawind Elementary, and Spectrum is such a special, unique environment, and the students there deserve to have such a great teacher who is so dedicated to them there. I can't help also but to, everyone, I didn't prepare anything, so most of the people in support of Mr. Theobald have kind of said what I would say as well about his First Amendment rights. And I would say to people who are thinking that teachers don't have opinions, I mean, we as professional teachers, we have opinions. I don't believe that Mr. Theobald put this on his bulletin board, hoping to, tell his students this. But he has an opinion, and we're allowed to have that under the First Amendment rights. So I just ask that you please reconsider, listen to all of the experts in this room who stand for him as well. And for those people who, I wouldn't have ever seen this Facebook account. I'm not on Facebook, and if I had, I wouldn't have thought that had anything to do with his students who love him. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Tony Barletta, followed by Bill Smithson. Oh, okay, all right. Bill Smithson, followed by Bob McCombson.
Okay, Madam Chair, Superintendent Main, and members of the school board. I am here again to speak on behalf and in support of Matt Theobald and implore the school board to think very carefully before making a final decision that will have a profound impact on his personal life and professional career. Your decision will also have a profound effect on teacher morale, which is at an all-time low point. I see it every day. Matt's comments on a social media platform about a man who is highly controversial in his divisive rhetoric about race, sexual orientation, gender identity, and a woman's place in society. Nowhere in the comments did he condone or glorify the despicable act of his assassination. And I don't think any of us here are of that character to have thought that it was anything but a despicable act. Nobody deserves that, regardless of their political or religious. All right? So let's be very clear on that. But we will not back off from expressing our own opinion that this man, Charlie Kirk, all right, raised a lot of divisiveness. His rhetoric was hateful. His comments about race, I mean, I can go on, and I don't want to make this all about that, but the man was a despicable person, all right? And to express those comments is our First Amendment rights, all right? I'm offended. I have gay friends, and his comments about the gays, I am sorry. They are inappropriate. They do nothing but stir up rhetoric, hateful rhetoric, and we have every right to discuss our thoughts. There are classes going on up north and in other parts of the country where they've made this particular issue, all right, conversation in high school classrooms for the purpose of developing critical thinking skills, giving their students an opportunity to debate this without making or giving them a personal commentation. All right. So, Matt's comments, all right, were made privately outside his educational boundaries and protected by his First Amendment rights. If you were to scan all the social media platforms of Martin County School District personnel, I guarantee you, you will need to discipline more than half of the staff. All right, this is talked about in the teachers' break rooms. It is talked about all over, pros and cons. It is out there.
Thank you, Mr. Smithson.
I will finish
Bob
next time.
McMinson, followed by Ms. Whitbeck, Lisa Whitbeck.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Bob Macomson. I'm not here to talk about what a good person or a good teacher Matt is. I think that's clearly been established already. I'm here to talk about what your obligation is in this hearing today. This is a quasi-judicial hearing proceeding. What that means is you have to make your decision today based upon what evidence is presented here today. So I will be looking to see what evidence is being presented that shows that any student was harmed by his comment, that he directed his comment to any student. If there's no evidence of that, you have no basis.
Please let him speak.
If there's no evidence of those, I don't think you have a basis to terminate him. Now, I sent you a letter last week. I'd like to read the last paragraph of the letter. I hope each of you read it. The last paragraph is as follows. Today I read in TC Palm a column by Bill Cotterill, a frequently published commentator. He reported the following quote, "My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. I think that a civil society, the best ideas will win as long as you have that marketplace," end quote. The author of that quote was Charlie Kirk. I'll continue with the letter. Ask yourselves, What would Charlie Kirk think about the effort to terminate Matt Theobald for his comment? If you are honest with yourselves and with the residents of Martin County, I think you know the answer. Do the right thing. Vote against the recommendation to terminate Matt Theobald.
Thank you. Ms. Whitbeck, followed by Carol Leonard.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Lott Whitbeck. I'm a community member. I'm an attorney and a member of the Florida Bar. I'm also the parent of a future Martin County School District student. He's 4 right now, and I actually have to run to pick him up for daycare, so I'm glad I could get in. And my husband is a Martin County School grad who I met at law school. I came here to Florida because I wanted to educate my kid here. Before we had kids, my husband and I would talk about where do we want to raise our family, where do we want to have our life, and I'd say, well, I think Martin County, let's go to Martin County because the education there is so good. And my friends up north would laugh at me. I'm from Connecticut, and I was living in DC, and they'd be like, you want to go to Florida for good education? Doesn't make sense. But I knew that this was a place where my kid could find community. My kid could find teachers who believed in him or her at that time. He wasn't born yet. But where my kids could grow, could thrive, and could find a diversity of opinions. That diversity was so important to me coming from a pretty white community in Connecticut. I wanted to be a place where whatever my kid was into would be embraced, whatever my kid needed, his or her needs would be met. And I thought that that would happen in Martin County. And I think it still can. I believe the education here is gonna be good for decades to come, but I'm a little bit worried. And I think the right decision here is to just give him a hearing, give him a fair hearing, and I think that DOA can provide that. I'm not an expert in education law. I don't think you guys are either. I think we should give these to people who do know the ins and outs of collecting evidence, being fair and impartial, and hearing these kind of hearings day in and day out, who are experts in this field to make this decision. And let this go. Move on. Get back to educating our kids.
Thank you. Carol Leonard, followed by Mary Jo Theobald.
Don't worry, I'll get it. Okay. Hello, my name is Carol Leonard. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon, Chair, Board, and Superintendent. Matt Theobald needs to be allowed to continue his impeccable teaching career of 17 years with no disciplinary record. He has kept his personal views out of the classroom. He has been fair and impartial. He is a father and an asset to the community. His recent post on his family member's Facebook account was sent to 200 people. That's hardly a significant number of people when compared to the thousands that live in Martin County. Because a person or person within this group decided to send this out into the school board, it should not be the basis for firing Matt and not giving him back his pay as well. It's not up to the few to mandate what is said and done by the majority of people who don't believe the same way as they do. Sounds like the book ban where one or a few could remove books out of school libraries. Matt didn't bring his viewpoints to the classroom. The students' mental health, physical health, and safety are not going to be affected by what he said. They'd probably not be reading it unless their parents let them. The school board is a member of the Florida School Boards Association. Under beliefs, they state, shall make reasonable effort to protect the student from conditions harmful to learning and/or to the student's mental and/or physical health and/or safety. Matt has done this for 17 years. Shall not unreasonably restrain a student from independent action in pursuit of learning. Shall not unreasonably deny a student access to diverse points of view. Remember, Matt didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk in the classroom. Being a teacher doesn't mean they can't speak and write, as the First Amendment allows. They have the same rights as everyone outside their classrooms and official school events. Turning Point, Charlie Kirk's organization, works with high schools and colleges to convert students to their ideals. They are a greater danger to students because they only show their viewpoints. Who monitors what they present to students? Why are they allowed to go into high schools especially? If people can make comments supporting them, then others who don't support them can make comments too. You are not treating Matt fairly. He's not done anything that warrants firing, and removing his teaching certificate and ruining his career is abominable. Please restore Matt to his teaching position, and please listen to what his lawyer says and have a third party also monitor what decision is made. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Jo Theobald, followed by Ginger Shannon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by saying I would not wish the loss of income, the anguish and the uncertainty of losing your livelihood and your ability to support your family on unfounded accusations of internet trolls and the denial of free speech to anyone in this room. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. This whole situation started when internet trolls who don't even live in Martin County copied a private post from my page and spread it around the internet, taking it out of context and twisting the words to suit their purpose. Unfortunately, the school board quickly jumped on the wagon and released Matt's name along with this information to the press and the public harm and to the press and to the public to harm Matt's name because he is the president of the teachers union that you despise. They did so with not even a conversation with Matt and I about the premise of the post. It was a family discussion with opinions of views that were on opposite sides. It was not unlike the comments that the chairman of this school board makes on her posts, some public, some private, and on podcasts where she speaks her dislike to people who don't agree with her Moms for Liberty views and politicians she disagrees with. All opinions expressed in that post describing Charlie Kirk's character can be substantiated by video clips of his own words. The comment comparing Turning Point USA to Hitler's Youth can also be substantiated. If you bother to fact check the statements rather than try to sow fear, you would have discovered the following. Boys and girls were recruited as young as 10 to 18 years old, and these young, impressionable minds were indoctrinated with distrust of the current political climate using the following. Ideological lessons. Children were taught Nazi concepts and the supposed superior of the Aryan race. Turning Point USA has taken steps to institutionalize a Christian orientation within its broader political work, including white Christian nationalism and white supremacy. Gender roles. Boys were trained as soldiers and girls were taught domestic skills to prepare them to be wives and mothers. Turning Point USA has described as advocating for gun rights and holding cultural career.
Mrs. Theobald, thank you. I appreciate your comments.
I'm sure you do.
Ginger Shannon, followed by Mindy Squeo.
Good afternoon. I'm Ginger Shannon, Superintendent Maine and school board members. It's with the heaviest heart that I speak to you again today. I'm a retired teacher. I retired 15 years ago. I still hear from some of my students on a regular basis. I loved them. They loved me. I loved what I did. I was the teacher of the year, 2005. I was the head of the English. Thank you. I was head of the English department for 10 years. I was the sponsor of the Martin County High yearbook and newspaper, and I loved everything I did. When I saw Matt Theobald come to Martin County High before I retired and saw he was going to be a new teacher and I was leaving my spot with him, not directly, but indirectly, I was thrilled. He is as enthusiastic and with full of integrity and character. Oh, he's a wonderful teacher. He's a role model, which I think we teachers need to be. We need to be good role models. Charlie Kirk is not a role model. I did not even know who Charlie Kirk was when he was horribly murdered. But being the English teacher and the journalism teacher that I am, I read and I researched. Oh boy. Oh boy. He made so many anti-Semitic remarks about Jews. He is anti-Semitic. He made disparaging, god-awful, ugly comments about black people that are racist. Oh my God, he called George Floyd a scumbag who was murdered by a white policeman. He said a few deaths due to gun violence is okay to give us our freedom of gun control. Oh my God. Charlie Kirk is not, Matt Theobald is a role model. He's a positive role model. He's an enthusiastic role model. He's a loving teacher. He loves his students. I loved my students, as I said before. I loved them with all my heart. I know that Matt is that way as well. I can tell. I've spoken to him. I know him. I have witnessed his career through the 17 years, impeccable record. You can check my record too. 44 years, impeccable record. I'll give you that. You know, he is just a man to be, you're an A school community, district. Matt Theobald can be thanked for that. And the fact that he went to Spectrum is dear to my heart, young man, because I tutored there at night when I was teaching at Martin County High. Those students need a positive role model like Matt Theobald.
Thank you. Mindy Square, followed by Rhonda Oxman.
Good afternoon, Superintendent and members of the board. As I did on October 7th, I'm here again to address the infringement on exemplary teacher Matt Theobald's First Amendment right to free speech. It has become clear to me that the attack on Mr. Theobald has nothing to do with how he conducts himself in his classroom, which has been without issue for 17 years, as evidenced by students who come and tell you that until the actions of others in this board made Mr. Theobald's private remarks widely public, students had absolutely no idea what Mr. Theobald's political views were. I'm certain that if you took the time to look at social media posts of every teacher in the county, you'd find plenty with remarks that skew all the way to the extreme far right. Are those teachers able to teach without bias? It's also clear to me that this board's concern is not Mr. Theobald's ability to teach in a non-biased way. It's that you don't agree with his personal views and therefore seek to eliminate him. That, my friends, is a defining element of fascism. Truthfully, we are all saddened by Charlie Kirk's death. I personally know hundreds of Democrats. I can tell you not a single one was glad that Mr. Kirk was assassinated or felt that he deserved it. It's a false narrative spread by right extremists. Like it or not, Charles Kirk was a controversial person. I've come to learn that he said some inspirational things during his life, but the fact remains that he also embraced and encouraged others to espouse hateful thinking. For those who want to learn more, there are plenty of unedited videos of Mr. Kirk spreading racist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, homophobic, xenophobic, and other hateful thoughts. In the weeks since his passing, we've seen hateful demagoguery bandied about by some of his young Republican followers who ranged in age from 38 to 20s. These are not children. Do parents in this district need to worry that teachers who followed Charlie Kirk will spread such hatred to their children? As I did on October 7th, I remind you that whether you agree with what Mr. Theobald said or not, you must acknowledge it has no impact on his proven abilities as a teacher, and you must respect his right to say it. And again, I implore you to cease this action. Put Mr. Theobald back in his classroom and get back to upholding your oaths of office to make Martin County Public Schools the schools of choice for every child in the county.
Thank you. Rhonda Oxman, followed by Jan Mazingo.
Good evening. Mr. Maine, you and I have a great relationship, superintendent to teacher, since I've come into Martin County for 4 years now. I can't help but wonder, and I can't help but ask this question of all of you. We elect you on a nonpartisan basis, yet everything that's happening in this district has become so partisan that somebody like me is afraid to speak. So I stand here before you to say, I'm a Christian woman. I'm also a liberal. I also have gay students. I have black students. I have Hispanic students. I pray every night before I go to bed that ICE doesn't show up in the neighborhood and drag them away. I pray every night for this country so that we can have normal political discourse. But see, what's happened with this board, and I witnessed it sitting in the let's cancel the presidential clause from the contract from the teachers union, it wasn't bipartisan. It wasn't even heard. Minds were made up based on the fact that it's connected to the union. Well, I want to make something very clear to all of you as a union board member. Whether or not you decide to keep Mr. Theobald, and I truly hope you decide to keep him, because there's a lot of us who won't be back next year if you don't. But we're not, the teachers union is not going anywhere. We will rise up bigger, stronger, and better, knowing that we are going to take this partisanship out and do what's good for the people of this community. Your church is here tonight, Ms. Pritchett. They don't even have skin in this game. Moral offense for the sake of moral offense, for me, is offensive. You want to quote scripture? I'll go get my Bible. I'll quote you scripture. But let's talk about fact. That's all partisan rhetoric. It's all partisan. It's not real. And it doesn't represent this school district, and it sure doesn't represent the teachers that are in our schools. Because if any of you think that I'm going to teach my gay student any less, or my trans student any less, or cry with the kid whose parents were taken by ICE, you're out of your minds. But if I'm afraid to speak it, if I'm afraid to share it, then you're inhibiting my job to build the relationship and love these students as I'm expected to do to be able to educate them, which blows your goals, Mr. Maine, right out of the water. Thank you.
Thank you. Jan Mazingo, followed by Nancy Brownie.
Thank you, school board. We really appreciate you. This is the best board that I have seen in the time that I have been in Martin County. So yes, let's give it up for this school board. Thank you. We appreciate all you do. We thank you for watching out for the children and the families, because that's what matters. That's what we voted for. That's why we voted you into office, and we support you. I know there's some voices here, but I will tell you, I know that I have hundreds, thousands, probably tens of thousands that I stand in proxy for here tonight. So I am their voice tonight. So there are others that feel differently. I feel badly for Mr. Theobald and what has happened and what he said. I feel bad for him, but I can't imagine having a friend or somebody kind, I would know, all these people are talking about Christians and being Christians, are telling me they're not acting like Christians. Well, tell me what a Christian is then. They would not say these things that were said here and these threats. I know they would not say them.
Please let her speak, please.
I'm sorry? Yeah, and what's really aggravating is the tone here. Everybody that's spoken here about and that loved Charlie Kirk, I met him. He was a very kind man. I loved him like a brother, like a son. I fully supported him. I support what he stood for. He was the biggest evangelist this country has had in years, and God knows our country and our young people need an evangelist. I mean, you know.
Let her speak.
They do. I mean, I don't care what they chatter. It's just chatter, but it just shows the disrespect. And that, to me, is representing you all. To me, being here at these meetings, this is my second one for this incident, you just show me who you are. You're just showing me who Mr. Theobald was. I would love to love the guy, but I would not want him teaching my children, my grandchildren. Most people I know right now are homeschooling their children. Homeschooling is growing in leaps and bounds because of this. I'm just saying, people, put your radar on and see what's happening. Read the room. Look at how many people went to the Charlie Kirk memorial service. Look at all the TPUSA chapters. She apologized. If I heard Mr. Theobald recognize what he did and apologize for it, I could move on and I could say, okay, but I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that man come up to me, look me in the eyes, and say you shouldn't have called us all. You just isolated a whole group that you should be teaching and training. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Brownie, followed by William Gist or Gist.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Nancy Brownie, and I'm a concerned parent and member of Martin County community. I also was a teacher for a few years here in Martin County. I recently learned that a teacher made an extremely inappropriate remarks about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Public comments on Facebook, specifically referencing Charlie Kirk, appeared to violate the state of Florida Code of Ethics and the Martin County School District policies. Such conduct raises serious questions about an educator's impartiality and negatively impacts in a learning environment. He does indeed have free speech. He is not free from consequences from saying whatever he feels like, especially promoting and co-signing murder.
Please let her speak.
Because he believes Charlie Kirk was a fascist, a racist, and a neo-Nazi, it is critical that our teachers maintain professionalism, prevent bias, and ensure all students receive fair treatment, free from personal political views and diverse rhetoric. No matter what anyone's political beliefs are, the kind of statement has no place coming from an educator. It raises serious concerns about the bias, professionalism, and most importantly, the safety and emotional well-being of our students. Teachers are role models for our children. They should be fostering respectful discussions, critical thinking, not telling them what to think, and not spreading hostile and violent ideas, such as calling conservatives neo-Nazis. I'm asking the board to take this matter seriously, look into it thoroughly, and make sure our schools remain safe, neutral, and focused on education.
Thank you. Jane Logan, followed by Carol Sal.
Hello, my name's William Gist. I spoke on October 7th. Why are we here? Is this about Matt, what Matt said on his mother's Facebook page? Were the words he wrote so violent, obscene, cruel, unkind that he must be fired after 17 years of no disciplinary actions? I don't think so. I believe this is about who Matt criticized. Matt had the temerity and the audacity to criticize Charlie Kirk, the darling of the ultra-conservatives of this country. Kirk was admired by our governor, the commissioner of education, the superintendent, the members of this board. And if the people I'm speaking to tonight are truly open and honest with us, they will admit that this is true. Matt criticized the wrong person. And this is exactly what is the problem with all this situation. If Matt can't criticize Charlie Kirk, then who can he criticize without being subject to termination? Who can he not criticize besides Charlie Kirk without being fired? Where's the list? Who created the list? How will Martin County teachers know who they can and cannot criticize and who is going to be protected by this board? Can teachers criticize President Trump, RFK Jr., or is it only permissible to criticize liberal Democrats like AOC, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, and Congresswoman Omar? What's your standard? When was it created? How was this communicated to the teachers? I think this shows the absurdities of this proceedings and the subjectivity of Matt's discipline. The United States Supreme Court in Connick versus Myers and other cases clearly gives public employees the First Amendment right to speak about matters of public concern. I've read that decision many times, and I've yet to find a statement by the court that this First Amendment right does not apply whenever the Martin County School Board finds it inconvenient or when an employee offends your fragile political biases. I have a quote. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, all protected by the First Amendment, end of quote. I sure wish I could take credit for that amazing quote, but I didn't say it. Charlie Kirk said it in a post on X in May of 2024. I challenge you to stand up and place the Constitution above your own political and personal preferences and beliefs. Reinstate Matt Theobald.
Thank you.
I believe Charlie Cook would expect no less.
Followed by Carol Sale.
My name is Jane Logan. I'm a Martin County resident for 35 years. I worked for the district for a few years, raised 2 daughters who went completely through the Martin County School District, one of whom was a teacher for 7 years, Teacher of the Year, and I have always been so proud to call the Martin County School District our school district. And I look forward to our 1-year-old granddaughter going through this district. But I was stunned when I heard the news this morning because I thought Matt's suspension would be a suspension. He'd be back at work in no time. And then I heard that you were considering terminating him, which stuns me beyond belief because having worked for the district, I think this is a district that believes in progressive discipline, which means that if someone did something once, they would be explained to them why that might not be appropriate and they would move on to a second. And I've even seen a 3rd or 4th time in this district. So I was stunned to hear that. I was also stunned to hear people come up here and say that they speak for thousands. Because I know I have gone to county board meetings where actually a county commissioner told me one time that his vote was cast against what everyone in the room wanted because he was voting for the silent majority. And if there's not 10,000 people here showing up to tell you how they feel, then they are the silent majority and their voices don't get to be heard. So I'm thinking, coming in late, that the majority of the people that are here tonight are here speaking on behalf of Matt. Because Matt, as I asked you...
Please let her speak.
As I asked you in my email that I sent only this morning, because again, I was stunned to hear that there was even a consideration of termination. And I said to you, I would ask that you set aside for a moment the fact that Matt has worked long and tirelessly for 17 years in this district. His social media comment was private and should be protected by the First Amendment. His comment caused no disruption to his ability to teach or to the school community. His termination would absolutely, most certainly result in unnecessary legal costs, money that could be far better spent on educating our children. And set aside the fact that there have been educators that have prevailed because courts realize that these rights apply to everyone. And set aside, most importantly, the message to future teachers, because I think I would not want to teach in a district where I'm not allowed to have an opinion. And again, I worked for this district for many years, and I know teachers have opinions, and I've always been impressed that you don't know what they are when you're in their classrooms. You might know what they are outside the job, but you don't know what they are when they're in their classrooms. And that's Matt Theobald. He was an excellent teacher, and he needs to be restored respectfully. Please, please, please restore him to the position that he is most suited for. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol Sale, followed by Luigi Ricard.
I think you mean me, it's Saki.
Saki, I apologize.
No problem. To be here today is astounding to me. We are in a crisis of the state's own making, and we are running out a 17-year veteran with an impeccable record for a personal viewpoint that he never intended to express publicly. A conversation on his mother's Facebook page that was screenshot and put into the public Facebook square. You know who's not on Facebook? High school kids. So this is a parent witch hunt, and it's for those with a very particular viewpoint and agenda. The current president of Moms for Liberty stated on social media that Mr. Theobald violated 6A 10081 as laid out in the Education Commissioner's memorandum. If a educator conduct causes a student or his or her family to feel unwelcome or unwilling to participate in the learning environment, it may be a violation of Rule 6A. Really, causes a student or family to feel unwelcome or unwilling to participate. Will that kind of judgment, such as is about to be cast for Matt, be held and spread across the spectrum? Is that the business the district is going to be in? Although a founder of a local Moms for Liberty chapter may find this incomprehensible, there are families in this community who find that organization and its actions controversial and therefore unwelcoming to their families.
Please let her speak.
Should a member then not be welcome in the classroom? I might be uncomfortable as a parent. If, another news flash, there's people in this community who find the actions of the Trump administration to be unconstitutional. So if someone's a supporter of Trump, is that person not welcome in the classroom to put on a cat in a hat and read to kids? How about people who took a controversial stand during COVID, anti-vaxxers? Should they not be allowed in the classroom? So that would eliminate a lot of people that are in front of me today. Let's talk about the presence of FCA in our sports, in our schools, in our high schools. I know for a fact that there are many families who are uncomfortable with the proselytizing that goes on in sports, but they sit quietly and they take it and they respect that that's a viewpoint that they have to be subjected to. But we don't do anything about that. They never say a word about it out of fear of targeting or being ostracized. This is all a very, very slippery slope you're putting this district on. You have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers in this community who have been very good to you.
Thank you, Ms.
Please do the right
Saki.
thing.
Luigi Ricard, followed by Jacqueline Putt.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Luigi Ricard. I'm not a friend of Mr. Theobald. I'm not a family member of his, but I'm a former Martin County student. I graduated about 10 years ago. And Mr. Theobald wasn't even my teacher directly. However, what he was an engaged teacher who participated in many student events. I was a member of DECA, and we had a regional competition that we qualified for. But unfortunately, one of the teachers who was supposed to accompany us could not go at the last moment. It was a big, big issue, and Mr. Theobald stepped up, traveled with us to Orlando, stayed until late in the night. We didn't arrive back in Martin County until midnight, I think, and he did it with enthusiasm. It was not his responsibility, but he stepped up when it mattered for us. So overall, Mr. Theobald is a fantastic teacher. I know that my friends who took his class were very satisfied. I've spoken to a few of them since I heard the news of his suspension. They're all shocked, all surprised, and they think that it's a very bad decision by the school board. I will add that the comments that he made were not in the classroom. They were not made in front of the students. The students would have no idea about them if the people pursuing this had not publicized it and put it in the media. So if the concern is that they would feel unwelcome, that was not the move to make. I will also add that many of you and many of the other teachers make public comments or private comments. If we combed through all your social media and saw support for certain divisive figures, some other students might not feel welcome. And in that case, we would have no one left to teach or to maintain the district. So overall, I think this is a witch hunt, and he should be allowed to come back to his job. That's it.
Thank you. Jacqueline Putt, followed by Tessa Toman.
Hi, good afternoon. Glad to be here, but not for this reason. I am really happy we have this board. About, I think, maybe 8 years ago, one of my sons, I have twin boys that went through Martin County, and we had a different board then, and much different. He was the kid that wore the Trump hat on the bus, got it ripped off, and nothing happened, but he ended up getting really bullied, really, a lot of horrible things happened to him at school. So I don't want teachers that are not speaking truth. So I feel like just everybody's kind of missing the point here. This teacher, whether he had a good reputation or not, he quoted, and I don't care where he quoted this, he quoted that this man, Charlie Kirk, created Turning Point USA, which is literally the equivalent of a modern-day Hitler Youth organization. Okay, that's what he quoted. He's a history teacher. And I hear people saying that's right. So we are comparing Charlie Kirk to a Nazi that killed like 6 million Jews, and he's a history teacher. That's what we're doing here. So I agree with Jan Monzingo. I also go to Revive Church. I am a God-fearing mom. I have twin boys. My husband goes to Revive Church. And we voted you guys in. Like, you're up there not because we all voted you in. We want you. We want to change, and that's what we want. I don't want my children. My children graduated. They graduated 2 years ago. They're 20. And I want a different school board like now. I don't want my children to be influenced and brainwashed by a person that actually compares a man like Charlie Kirk to a Nazi. What about Charlie Kirk? Did you see how many people that were at Charlie Kirk's funeral? How many people were speaking about the integrity of this man? He was a God-fearing man. He was a father. He was a husband. He changed America for good. He spoke about Jesus Christ. And we are forgetting that, and we have this hate from the majority of these people that are teachers or moms that believe in these teachers. These aren't teachers. These people are not teachers. And Mr. Theobald, that's not a teacher. He is influencing children in totally the wrong way.
Thank you, Ms. Putt. Tessa Toman, followed by Sydney Thomas.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa Tillman. I'm a part of Treasure Coast Club America, which is a high school division of Turning Point USA. I don't say this on behalf of Turning Point, but as a concerned individual. I wasn't planning on speaking today, so this will be brief. But it is extremely disturbing for me to hear people target the organization I am a part of and celebrate the murder of our founder or justify it. If we want to talk about free speech, Charlie Kirk wanted nothing more for free speech to remain free. You heard many quotes regarding that sentiment tonight, and this teacher had his right. He utilized his First Amendment. But that doesn't mean he can't face the consequences of his actions, which Charlie Kirk was also very much so in support of. As a child, a part of Turning Point USA, it is appalling to endure the hate. And what is said, the statement he made, regardless if it is public or private, is absolutely egregious. This kind of mindset and these kinds of statements are what fan the flames of hate within our culture, and we cannot allow this to continue, especially when there are Turning Point USA chapters in this county and in these schools. I've heard several people in this room say that this controversy is political, but this has nothing to do with politics. This is about being human. No one should equate the atrocities of Hitler and World War II to a man martyred for his beliefs and his organization, which has members in your schools. That is absolutely devastating and disgusting. As I said, my statement would be brief. I wasn't expecting to speak today, but I needed to say something. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Sydney Thomas, followed by Melissa Burke.
My name is Sydney Thomas. I'm a former educator in Martin County, parent of Martin County students, and advocate for public education. In Matt's post, he drew a comparison between Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and the clubs within the schools. Okay, I'm kind of surprised nobody's talked about this. We all have AI, right? If you ask AI to respond to you like a PhD level historian and compare and contrast Charlie Kirk's messaging and Turning Point USA to Nazi propaganda, are they the exact same? No, they're not. Is it a reasonable comparison to make? It absolutely is. And every AI that you use to make this comparison, and I've tried a million different prompts to make sure that it's not coming out completely biased. We're talking about Grok, which is known for being like a far-right propaganda machine. That'll back up the comparison. ChatGPT, they have so many similarities that what they all come to the conclusion is it's a warning. They're not the exact same, mostly because we're living in a democracy. Like, let's hope that that upholds. They are not the exact same, but it is so incredibly fair to compare and contrast them, which is why you have historians doing it. Okay, and as far as speaking for thousands of people, I mean, I guess you could say I'm speaking for what's turning out to be, 7 to 9 million of them on Saturday. So he's a good teacher, keep him.
Thank you. Melissa Burke, followed by Crystal Jones.
Good evening. I heard a lot about I want tonight, and the best part of Martin County is we have choice. If you don't want your child to be taught by somebody, you can go to the guidance counselor and principal, and they will move your child, if that is a problem here, because we need the students. So they will move your child. If you don't like what's being taught in the public schools, you have choice to do homeschool or whatever else you want. So if you don't want Matt to be the chapter, the leader, teacher who steps up for your chapter Turning Point here, don't ask him to be it. You have the choice to not have him be that position, but let him do his job. He's been an effective teacher for 17 years with no discipline. There's typically, I pay attention, there's typically a progression. Not just, I didn't like that, I got a lot of phone calls, and people weren't happy in the community, didn't like it. Well, some of the community was disturbed by other things. And they don't come up here and complain. Or it doesn't make it this far to the public. There's been a lot of disturbing things over the last few years that have happened here. I think you've stepped over your bounds. You need to have an independent counsel hear the hearing and reinstate Matt immediately with pay.
Thank you. Crystal Jones, followed by Frank McChrystal.
Hello, thank you for having me here. I just want to start off by addressing all of the disrespect. You know, I noticed that when Christian values were brought up, Jesus Christ makes people laugh, you know. That's just the reality, right? Where people have opinions, but the reason why a lot of us are here from church, I have children, I live in Martin County, is because this man was murdered, right? The rhetoric that it's a volatile situation when a teacher who's a history teacher, who should know, you don't say comments that are going to target a specific group of people because kids are online. There's a student here. There's students that do listen. They are watching. We are the example. We need to lead. Actions have consequences. So I'm going to ask you respectfully to make an example of Matt Theobald and say, you know what, we're not going to accept this. This is not okay. We're not going to have another Charlie Kirk. And that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Frank McChrystal.
At the last meeting, I was here defending freedom of speech at any cost, no matter what, no matter where, no matter how. I then proceeded to be accosted by some teachers, a handful, that reminded me something I didn't know at the time, which was there's something in Mr. Theobald's contract that I guess, you know, when you go to work for certain companies or certain organizations, it's right there. You have freedom of speech, but you don't have as much freedom of speech as you used to because you signed this contract that said you will not do these type of things. Right. So I think it's as simple as that. And on the freedom of speech topic, we'll talk about that later, I guess. So I think it is that simple. All right, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment. We will now move to action-only items. The first action item was pulled from consent, 10.08. Dr. Moriarty.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to address this and maybe have Mr. Moore or Superintendent Main jump in. But this came up in our previous meeting about the student progression plan, and I just want to make sure that the public is fully aware, because some of the comments that were made was that if students chose not to do an assignment, they would get a 50 and instead of a 0, and that they were getting somewhat of a participation trophy. And it looks like the district staff went back and revised that. And it says now that missing assignments or assessments shall be entered into the grade book as a Z until the end of the designated make-up work period, at which point they will be converted to a 0. So if students are not completing an assignment, they are not getting a 50, they are getting a 0. So I didn't know if the superintendent or Mr. Moore wanted to chime in on that, but that's that looks like it's satisfied with this board. It's recommended. And okay, and then I would move to approve that item then.
Okay. Can I have a, did you
Second.
want to? Oh, wait, hold on. Did you want to? Okay. I have a motion by Dr. Moriarty, a second by Ms. Russell.
Powers.
Oh, Ms. Powers, I apologize. All those in favor? Go ahead.
I just wanted the board to know that I will be voting against this recommendation. There's a mathematical truism when you convert a percent scale to a 4-point scale, and doing this is not mathematically correct. I understand that it's what the board wants, but I'll be voting against it for that reason. Thank you.
Okay. So I have a motion by Dr. Moriarty, a second by Ms. Powers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those dissenting?
That would be me.
Okay. So I have, everyone approves except for Ms. Roberts. Thank you. Moving on, we will, 18.02, renewal of group Medicare Advantage and supplement insurance for retirees.
I move approval of 18.02.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Powers, a second by Ms. Roberts. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. 18.03, requisitions to be approved for purchase orders over $100,000.
Move approval of 18.03.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Powers, second by Dr. Moriarty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I have 18.04, Matthew Theobald's request for a formal administrative hearing before an administrative law judge at the Division of Administrative Hearings. I would like to now defer to our school board attorney, Mr. Tony George. Thank you.
Thank you. One, I realize that I'm going to be correcting and updating Judge Makeumson today. So originally, Superintendent Main did schedule the termination for part of this meeting. Subsequent to that, Martin Powell, on behalf of Mr. Theobald, both filed the request for the hearing, also filed the request in the petition for the Department of Administrative Hearings to hear the petition for termination. Subsequent to that, on behalf of Mr. Theobald, Mr. Powell has issued a request for public records, which to date have not been filled. I'm going to go over what the legal requirements are and the options you all have. On October 8th is when Mr. Powell for Mr. Theobald filed the request for a hearing. That creates, if you all are going to hear it, a 60-day clock for you to hear it. That 60-day clock, if you go from October 8th, goes to December 7th. That's a Sunday, so it would have to be heard no later than Monday, December 8th. There is a path. I'm going to bring it up just in case this is one of those where it happens. Mr. Theobald, Superintendent Main, can come to this board jointly and request that it be postponed to a later date. Then you all would have the right to have it heard later. At this point, if you all choose to hear it, the 60-day date is what we work from. Alternatively, it could be heard by the Division of Administrative Hearings, so DOA. Practically speaking, it is unlikely they would hear it this year. It is an entity that it would be January probably at the earliest. I know in making that statement, they can prove me wrong, and they can also go longer. But they aren't subject to that 60-day march under the statute like you are. What is before you tonight is Matt Theobald's request for the Department of Administrative Hearings to hear it. Under both school board policies, the collective bargaining agreement, the default and the choice is this school board as to whether it wants to hear it, or this school board can agree with Mr. Theobald's request and defer it to the Department of Administrative Hearing. The other matter, which is a timeline that we don't have any influence on and won't know. We're aware that the Florida Department of Education is looking into teachers who have been alleged to have made inappropriate comments regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination and looking at their teacher's certification. That is not a mandated function of the Florida Department of Education. That is something they are choosing to do. Therefore, there is no known timeline on when they will be coming out with whatever their ultimate conclusion is. And I would expect, but I receive ongoing training in school board education, not Florida DOE. I would expect that they would be required for the teachers involved to give them hearing rights in that process. So there is no timeline really known for whatever action the Florida Department of Education may take. What is not before you tonight is the termination. What is before you is a decision that you all have the authority to make, and only you all can make, which is whether you want to hear Superintendent Main's recommendation for termination, you all want to hear Mr. Theobald's response and defense, or whether you want to defer it to the Department of Administrative Hearing, which is Mr. Theobald's request.
Thank you.
And Mr. George, can you also clarify, this is not a quasi-judicial hearing, correct?
Tonight is not a quasi-judicial hearing.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we have some discussion? Ms. Roberts?
So one of the things I'm most concerned about is that with a deadline, if we hear it as a board, with the deadline of December 8th, that we don't know what the Department of Education is going to do, and we would be placed in a position where we make a decision, and then the Department of Education comes in later and has their decision if they happen to do it later than that. But I think that creates a problem. I also think that I think it's more prudent to go ahead and have it heard by the Department of Administrative Hearings, by a judge who's versed in exactly what the issue is, who can interpret what that professional standards language is, and deal with it that way. So I'm in favor of it going to the Department of Administrative Hearings.
Ms. Powers?
Yes, I have the opposite opinion. I think that this is a local issue. I think that this doesn't necessarily tie to the actions of DOE. Terminations happen in school districts without a loss of licensing through DOE. So they don't necessarily, one does not impact the other. I think that this is something that we should maintain our local control. Mr. Theobald is an employee of the Martin County School Board, and I feel like this should be heard in the community that we represent.
Thank you. Ms. Russell? No comments? Mr. Moriarty?
I'm good.
Okay, so we will vote on it.
So I'd like to make a motion that we deny the request for the termination hearing to be heard by DOA, and that we hear the termination here locally at the school board, and that we schedule it as soon as practicable for both parties.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Powers, a second by Dr. Moriarty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dissent?
I'll dissent, thank you.
I dissent also. So it's 3-2 to proceed with the termination. What? You'll dissent also? Okay. So it flips.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
why don't you do the roll call vote?
Okay. Ms. Falls, will you do the roll call vote, please?
Dr. Moriarty?
In favor of the motion.
Mrs. Roberts?
Against the motion?
Mrs. Powers?
In favor.
Mrs. Russell? Mrs. Pritchett?
Against the motion. So that is, we will proceed to a DOA hearing.
So, Madam Chair,
Can Mr. George speak, please? Thank you.
so the board has voted not to hear it,
Correct.
I would recommend that the board make a motion, a second, and vote to defer it to DOA.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Roberts, a second by Ms. Russell. All those in favor? Aye. So, is it?
Opposed?
Call the opposed.
Opposed? Okay, so we have 3 for putting it to DOA and 2 opposed. Opposed are Dr. Moriarty and Ms. Powers. Okay, let's move along. We are now going into the first read of policies. The first, let's see, give me a second here, getting on the right page. 1901, Standards of Ethical Conduct.
I move the advertising review approval of 1901, 1902, 1903, 1904, 1905, 1906, 1907, 1908, 1909, 1910, 1911, 1912, 1913, 1914, and 1915.
May I have a second? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Roberts, a second by Ms. Russell. All those in
Public.
Oh, do I have any public comment on any of these policies? Seeing none, I have a motion by Ms. Powers, a second by Ms. Russell. No, I'm sorry. Ms. Roberts and a second by Ms. Russell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're moving on. I'm going to wait until everyone leaves because it's hard to hear. Okay, moving on to 20.01 District Advisory Council. This is a new policy. Do I have any comments?
Public comment.
Okay, any public comments on this or any of the other board policies? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve 20.01?
I move approval of 2001, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, can I get a second? Have a motion by Ms. Roberts, a second by Ms. Russell. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. We now have open to the board. Do I have any?
So tonight, from 5 to 6 at Children's Services Council is the meet and greet for the 4 finalists for their executive director. They are staying a little later, so if anybody's interested in going by there on Central Parkway, they could meet the 4 candidates, and tomorrow, starting at 8:30, is the interviews. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. This meeting is adjourned.